Hi again, I'm Carson from Guys with Games, and today I'm going to show you a game mechanic that I use to build games or insert on top of games that we have already played, making them more interesting and maybe worth revisiting in my students' minds. And it's called the bidding mechanic. So in order to do this in class, the first thing you'll need to do is to teach your students what it means to make a bid and to try to outbid your opponent. So naturally, it works best if you can divide your class into two teams, and I like to have one student on each team face off against each other at a time. The best way, in my opinion, the most fun game that I've ever played with this, I don't use it anymore because I don't do this English task in my school. But in a previous job of mine, the employer wanted the students to be able to recite a lesson that they had learned in the previous week or 2 weeks. So what that would look like is that we'd spend a class teaching a new lesson, teaching the new vocabulary and the new grammar, and their homework was to listen to the audio file or read it to themselves enough times that by the next week's class they would be able to recite it without looking at the words to the teacher. I don't really think that's a useful task for the students to be able to do, so I don't do that in my classroom anymore. But I turned that otherwise pretty mundane task into a game to give them practice, because that's something that they were expected to be able to do. So let me show you how that worked, and then I'll show you how a game that I still use today works on the whiteboard, okay? Using the bidding mechanic. So for reciting a lesson, I would say, okay, first I would teach the kids what it means to bid and how to outbid each other going down from a number. So I would say, okay, we're going to practice reciting your lessons. So I will choose two students, one and one, stand up and play paper, scissors, stone. Now the loser, we're going to start with you, and you must start with the number 10. And then you'll have a bidding war against each other until we say, somebody says, that's too low, you can try. So 10 is your number, but 10 what? It means I'm going to pick a random lesson that we have learned recently, and I will read the first 10 words in that lesson, and then you would have to continue to recite that lesson till the end and make fewer than, let's say, 3 mistakes. If you can do it, then you would get a star for your team. So I'll have one of these little T charts here to score it. But wait a minute, student B. If you don't want to let that student have the chance to get the star for his team, you could bid lower. So you would say, I can do it by only hearing 9 words, I would be able to recite the entire lesson. And you don't have to go down by 1. You could say, I can do it in 5, but it's up to you. So student B, what do you think? I'll try 8 words. Okay, back to you, student A. Maybe she thinks that she can do it with only hearing 5 words. Okay, back to you, student B. Oh, that's too few. I think if she only hears 5 words, she won't be able to recognize the lesson and be able to recite it without making more than 3 mistakes. Okay, so you can sit down and I will read the first 5 words from the lesson. If you can keep going until the end, again, without making more than 3 mistakes, you get the star for your team. So here it is. Tom didn't come to school. And she would need to continue from there, identify the lesson in her mind and keep going until she was done reciting it. Then we would find out, oh, that was pretty easy. Now the second set of students have a better idea of how this works. Anyway, let me show you how I play a game still in my class. Okay, several years ago we have a video on our channel called Lingo. It's modeled after the game show, but it has since been turned into a multi-million-dollar app called Wordle. Anyway, the way that it works is you think of a 5-letter word, and then the students guess a 5-letter word, and you show them what they have correct. So if my word was apple and they guessed chair, first I would ask the students, how do you spell chair? I would write in what they say, and then I would give them information about the letters based on my correct answer. So if you don't remember how to play this, check out our other video. I'll put the link in the description. But the bidding mechanic way to do this is that it's 1 versus 1 before we even play. And we start the bidding at, let's say, 8 tries. I could do it, but if I had 8 turns to find the answer. I think I can do it in 6. I think I can do it in 5. Okay, you try, okay? And so that person would get 5 tries to find the word apple based on their guesses and this information. That's just one way you can use the bidding mechanic in a game that I still play to this day. But I hope this gives you some inspiration about how to make maybe some games of your own. And that's it for today. So we'll see you again next week. Have a good day. Bye-bye.